Oh, welcome to. This is actually one of the first recordings of the Quantum Healer. I am your host, Dr. Tracey Allshafer, and I'm here today to talk to Tammie Starnes of Abundant Healing in Hillsborough, New Jersey, about something kind of exciting.
Yes, I'm so glad you're here.
I am glad to be here because, well, we have a connection from our holistic massage school from. I looked it up. You actually were a little earlier than me. I think I
Okay.
graduated later than what I thought. But very close in time that
Very good.
we went to Health Choices,
Yeah, it
which
was
was not
98.
far from here.
Nope, 3 miles. Yep.
So there's something all of a sudden kind of perking up in this area about healing,
Very
and
much
it's
so.
really exciting, I think.
Yep.
So here we are. We're here to talk about the harmonic egg.
Thank you. Yeah.
The harmonic egg today.
So excited.
So I thought, why don't you talk a little bit about who you are and how you came to use the egg before we
All
get to
right.
what exactly it is.
What it is, right? I'm Tammie Starnes. I've been doing medical massage for 24 years, and it's always been about emotional healing. It's been about the emotional stuff as well as the physical stuff because one causes the other, And so when I actually looked up the harmonic egg back in March of 20, because we were home, we were doing nothing else. I looked up, I spoke to Gail, the creator, and I was like, wow, it's really interesting. Maybe after COVID's over, I'll call you and I'll look that up because I'd really like to buy one, but just right now we're not working. So then as the
Yeah.
months went by, that's what made me look at it a little more because people were not doing well, So that's made me go to take a look. But I've been doing medical massage 24 years, and anything I can do to kind of help people along the next thing is what I like to invest in because it can help my office, it can help the clients, it can help us move forward.
Yeah. That's really kind of the basic concept behind the show is I wanted to my motto since I began my practices has been to help people learn other holistic healing modalities that they can use as complements to maybe some of the other things that they're doing to speed the healing process or
Absolutely.
create maybe a quantum leap through the healing process.
That's
Who
what we're-
knows,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
But yeah, I feel like we're here for a reason. We're supposed to be sharing with people. There's these other tools. There's these other cool things.
Amazing. And there's so much coming out. It's like every time you look at your emails, there's another thing coming out that's even greater than the last thing you looked at.
Yeah. Well, we're going into a whole other technological revolution with this, Aquarian age, and so
Absolutely.
we're going to be seeing, I think, a lot of healing modalities coming through, and it's exciting.
So much so.
Very much so, and they're all working in this quantum field with light, with color, with frequency, and how. Going back to Gail, because you mentioned her, she's the creator of the
Creator, yep.
harmonic egg,
Yep.
and I think she's based in Colorado.
Colorado, yep.
How did she come to create this egg? How did she figure this out?
She actually has been through a lot of her own story. I have her book and I've read it at length. And thank God it's on Audible right now. So now we can hear it, which makes it so much easier.
Yeah.
But she actually did not start out in the healing industry by any means. She, came up in a normal blue collar lifestyle. And then as she grew up, she started being introduced to different things like the light box and different things. And she was already familiar with light therapy and sound therapy. And then she wanted to expand on that. And then she had basically a download of information. And that's when she started looking into creating the egg. And then from there, it just was a culmination of meeting the right people and having it all fall into place. And then everybody that she vets to make the music for the harmonic egg, they have to be of the right vibration. Their music has to be made in the right vibration. Like everything has to come together to be approved by her to actually go in the egg. So it's amazing how very, very timely and how very precious everything is.
Yeah. Everything is energy, everything is frequency. And so the key, I think, really to any true healing is finding that right frequency for you, right?
Absolutely,
Would
yeah.
you agree?
Oh, very much so, yeah.
So I love that. I think the egg uses several different things. One is the sound. And what exactly, it's just different music that's created? Or?
Different music, but when you look at drumming is so good for brain stimulation. So if somebody's going through Alzheimer's, you need to stimulate the brain. If you're preparing to take a test, you want to stimulate the brain. That kind of thing. If you want to, start creating something, you want to stimulate. So there's drumming for that. Drumming would not be for somebody who's got major issues calming down, because you want them to calm down. That's when you want to do more of a PTSD protocol, more waters and piano, more calming, that kind of thing, soothing, birds, that kind of stuff.
So there's a particular sound that you're going to choose for each client.
Absolutely.
I love that.
Yeah, violin goes with the liver. There's all different music that goes with different body parts.
Right.
So that's the stuff that we research on our end, so we make sure to put you in the egg for the right thing that you've come in for.
I love it. How much time do you take talking to each person prior?
At least a good 15 to 30 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's a big deal. It's important to understand, okay, you're coming in for this injury, but what happened when the accident happened or the injury happened? What was going on in your life?
Right.
What was kind of leading you up to this kind of situation, and how do you want to address it now? Why aren't you healing?
Right.
Why don't we go into that? Are you allowing yourself to heal? Because the whole question could get much bigger.
Right.
So we want to deal with the root causes.
And I know from dealing with a lot of people in a healing modality myself that that's a scary thing. Mm-hmm. Not everybody even has the answers or even knows where something started or whatever. So what do you do in a situation where you kind of don't get a response that you can work with?
Right. It doesn't have to be. You don't have to know all the root causes of everything, but maybe you can work on forgiveness and see where that goes, that kind of thing. Maybe you can work on inflammation. And then when that starts going away, it's like an onion. Then you have the next layer. And they're like, wow, you know what? I had a really crazy dream after that, and I remembered blah, blah, blah. And you're like, okay, there we go. There's another layer of the onion. How about we work on this time?
Right.
And then finally, by the time you get done with it, you actually it doesn't hold any energy for you because it's gone.
Right.
So then pretty soon the injury itself can be gone, because you release the root.
So that's is that part of with the language of the sessions for the egg, it says increasing some kind of positive frequency and releasing, or what's your language for the negative energy? I can't remember.
I guess releasing it, but reprogramming it.
Okay.
Because it's reprogramming. I call it like a reboot. You're reprogramming your body. It's taking your nervous system and helping it to reset.
Right.
And this way, if you can reset it at a better, higher frequency, it can't go down that low again. It can only raise up. And that's what you're doing every time you go in the egg. It's raising your frequency.
So we have the frequency, we have the sound. Now talk to me about the color.
The colors are beautiful. I love this. But dark blue is more for chronic pain. Light blue is more spiritual. There's all sorts of meaning for this. Red is what I put people in for when they need more creativity. They want to increase, that part of them.
Okay.
There's a lot more to it than that. But dark yellow is one of my favorites because it helps with detachment. It helps with depression. It helps with empowerment.
Wow.
White is for harmony. What a beautiful color. And you wouldn't think that of white.
Yeah.
But white is amazing. It's all colors.
So the color doesn't change or oscillate when you're in there. You get a particular color that you're working with. I love that too.
And there's two colors because there's one on the top and one on the bottom.
Okay.
So this way you have two colors to choose from. So you can go with the red, and then you can go with maybe a purple, or you can go with a green, or you can go with another color that would work with another thing you want to work on.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So the colors are there, but nothing changes when you're in. Nothing vibrates. Nothing's oscillating. No, there's no flashing.
Okay.
It's very still. It's very perfect. Yeah.
All right. So we have the sound, we have the color. Now there's the sacred geometry.
Yes, which is beautiful.
So is that the egg itself, or is there something else that I'm missing?
Oh, it's the egg itself. It's actually the whole outside building of the egg, and the inside you see the dodecahedron, which is 12-sided. So you have 3, 6, and 9 in there. And then you have the platform it's on. There's sacred geometry, and then the circle above. That's everything in there is about sacred geometry.
What's the sacred geometry of the platform?
Yeah, I don't remember. I think it's 6-sided. Yeah, it's the side. It's the sides that are on it.
And I was surprised when you showed me the egg to find out that it's wood.
Ah, yes, all natural.
So it's a natural, not, when I saw it in a picture, it looked real smooth and I
Right.
assumed it was metal or plastic.
Right.
But I love that it's wood.
Yeah, it's all natural product. So this way it expands and contracts. It's very breathable, if you will. It's like you being in the egg. It itself expands and contracts because it's wood. It's breathable, that kind of
Yeah.
thing. So natural products.
How long have you been working with the egg then? Since 20?
It's been 2 years. I just had my 2-year anniversary of going out and doing the egg for the first time.
Okay.
Yeah, I drove with my daughter out to we went to Ohio the first time and did the eggs. We traveled 7 hours to go there. And he asked me what I wanted to work on, and I really was there for my daughter, but I was like, okay, I'll be closer to my intuition, whatever.
Okay.
And he put me in, and I wasn't wowed, I have to be honest. I was trying to figure out how they clean it. I was trying to figure out if they missed some paint. I was trying to figure out how they put it together. I'm very much a builder. I'm very analytical. And then he came and got me out, and I was like, all right, thank you, whatever.
Yeah.
And I didn't have any great shakes, any great moment, but I was like, all right. Then my daughter got in, and she came out, and she's like, Mom, that was stupid. I had to pee the whole time. And I said, that's okay. Thanks for trying. And I'm like, we traveled 7 hours for this, but we'll see what tomorrow brings. And 3 o'clock in the morning, I woke up with this horrible vision or dream, whatever you want to call it. And I'm driving, and I get behind this guy, and he's so annoying. And I was going to go I went in the right lane, and there'd been a snafu up ahead. Now there's a white car, single female driver facing me in that lane. And that's when I woke up, and it was a dead panic. And I went, okay, so don't do that. Like, whatever's going on, make sure to note this. I knew it was a vision. Went back to sleep, woke up 7 in the morning, and Jessie and I went down for breakfast that morning. She ordered an entire breakfast by herself to an absolute stranger. And up until then, she hadn't been speaking. This COVID shutdown thing had just changed her system, and she wasn't speaking.
Wow.
And she would talk to me, but not conversation. It was more just yes or no, kind of stuff. And she ordered an entire breakfast in detail with this woman. And then the woman goes, what brings you to Ohio? And she's like, ugh, my mom wanted me to do some stupid harmonic egg. It didn't even help me. And I'm looking at her like, you're speaking, so we're good.
Yeah. Wow.
But then on the way home, that whole thing happened. I'm driving. I get behind this guy, and he's so annoying. And I went, don't get in the right lane. And within seconds, a white car was facing the wrong way with a single female driver in it.
I just got tingles up my back when you just told that story.
It was scary.
Wow.
Yeah.
So since then, have you seen your intuition heighten to a greater degree?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And then I keep going in the egg, too, so that's always helpful. But, yeah, it just keeps raising and raising, which is wonderful.
Wow.
So I'm able to use that.
So you have this beautiful technology now. You're having clients use it for various different reasons. Share some of the amazing stories and benefits.
Oh, gosh, I'm so excited.
I mean, that was enough, I think.
Yeah.
Just you and your daughter and that story, but I'm sure you can...
So many people around here have been helped by it. And so many people have come from like 3.5 hours away, 4.5 hours away to come do the eggs. So to me, it's exciting. We had a gentleman coming from Connecticut weekly for 10 weeks. He had some skin issues going on, and he came down weekly for 10 weeks, and he's been doing really good. So that was fabulous. But yeah, we've had so many people with so many great stories. We had a woman come down from New York. She had twisted her ankle the day she was supposed to come down. She called us and said, I can't even put weight on it. I'm so sorry, I have to cancel my appointment. And the next day she came down and she's like, well, I couldn't move anyway, so what's the point? She goes, I had my daughter drive me down. She couldn't put any weight on it. And she went in the egg for the inflammation. And she came out, she was able to move it up and down and all around. And she was able to put weight on it again.
Wow.
But yeah, but they drove from New York to do this. Like, that's beautiful. And that's over an hour away.
So you have some very immediate
results.
And then some that are, maybe take a night or are a little longer, but something's shifting. And like with the case of your daughter, she maybe wasn't conscious to what shifted or what happened, but you witnessed it and were able to see it firsthand. Is anybody ever worried about going in the egg, like claustrophobic?
Claustrophobic, yes. But you saw how big the egg is.
It's
like, enormous.
It's huge. I couldn't believe how big it was.
Right, because people think it's a pod, like a little teeny tiny pod or something. And I'm like, no, if you can get into a cargo van with no seats in it, you'll be fine. because that's about the size of it.
It's bigger than my
huge.
car.
Right, exactly. Exactly. So,
Yeah.
and when people do get claustrophobic or they feel like they're going to, we just close the door enough that they feel comfortable and we'll stay in there. And then as they're like, oh yeah, you can close it a little more. And then we just close it a little bit and we're like, okay, we'll just wait here. And then pretty soon like, oh no, close it, we're fine.
Okay.
And we'll close it up and then they're in there for the rest of the time and they're fine. But you know what, it's like anything else, you have to feel safe in order to allow the next step to happen.
Right.
So closing the door is some people's big step. I'm like, that's
Wow.
okay. You can be where you're at for the time being. But the chair relaxes. It's a zero gravity chair, so
Right.
you're tipped back. We
Right.
put a blanket on you. And this way you can just slip off and go to sleep if you want, or you can stay awake, whatever you want to do. There's no electronics in there, so you can't
Right.
check your phone and you can't do all this other stuff.
Yeah.
But I brought a piece of paper in with me last time and a pen because I went in there for clarity.
Oh.
Oh my gosh, it was fantastic. My brain was popping with ideas. So in the low lighting, I was sitting there writing as best as I could,
Okay.
but ideas were coming to my head and it was
thought.
neat. It was super neat.
So we can meditate, we can sleep.
Yes.
It doesn't matter what you do, even if even if the monkey mind's all over the place, it
Right.
doesn't really matter. You're getting, you're receiving. It's going to.
It's
assist
going to
in
do
some
what it's
way.
supposed to do. Yep.
And have you ever had somebody go in and feel like there was something particular they wanted to work on, and maybe that they didn't really feel much with that, but something else occurred, like a healing in a whole other way?
In a whole other way, yeah. One of the women I know was going in. She was getting ready to go through a divorce, and it was very much a good thing. She's getting ready to go through a divorce, and he now didn't want it. He was going to therapy. He's better, so he's trying to talk her into staying. And I didn't say a word. I said, why don't you just go in the egg and ask for clarity on your situation? So she went in there and she's thinking la la la, relaxing, peaceful. And she said it was very different. She said it felt scary. She said the egg smelled like mold. And she said, I don't know why. She goes, I'm very sensitive to smell. And I went, there's no smell in the egg. And she goes, oh no, it smelled like mold. She goes, I know what it smelled like. She goes, it smelled like a basement. It smelled moldy. And I went, okay. I said, what else happened? She goes, that color was horrible. She goes, it felt scary to me. I felt this, I felt that. And I said, what are you going through? And she went, I said, you asked for clarity. Yeah. I said, you're in the midst of something that maybe you're not okay with on some level. But I said, the other party is trying to make it okay. I said, I'm just asking, did you get the message? And she's like, no, I got it. She goes, wow. I said, well, now next time you have to come in soon. But I said, you need to go in now for manifestation or that kind of thing. So this way we can get you in there and move you forward to your next thing.
Right.
So she went in there thinking it'll be all peaceful and relaxing. And what it was a reality.
Gotcha.
That's rare though, because she's the only one I've had that had happen to. Yeah.
Well, you never know. And it is like there's so many layers to the process of true healing.
Yeah.
So, you might be focusing on one, but it might be coming where you really need it on a truer, deeper level.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there would be any reason why the egg wouldn't work for somebody, and the only thing I'm thinking is if they can't get in it, like if they're in a wheelchair or something, or is
This is fabulous. We had a woman actually yesterday come in a wheelchair. We were able to get her out of the wheelchair to get her in the egg. We assisted her, and it went beautiful, and I was so happy. But if that were the case, if she couldn't get out of the wheelchair, we would have just put it up on the platform in front of the egg, and she still would have had the same effect.
Oh.
But she wanted to be in the egg. I was very excited she came in yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that reminds me that I also saw, what's the remote? How do you do a remote?
Oh, this is wonderful.
Egg? Explain that.
Okay, perfect. Like I would take your picture and I would have your birth date on it and your original birth name, because that changes over our lives. And I would put that in there. And then I would put you in for the intention you want to go in for. I would set the colors as if you were in the egg. And then I would shut the door. And I'm calling you on the phone. I would let you know, like, listen, you're in the egg. Lay down where you're at. Just stay relaxed for the next 50 minutes because now you're in the egg. But I want you to be home resting. You're not doing dishes and cleaning house. But lay down and really try to be mindful that you're in the egg and these are your intentions. Picture these colors, for the next 50 minutes. And during that time, when your picture's in the egg, you're actually receiving the session.
And you've done this with people and you've had the same benefits.
People and animals. Yep. Yep.
Oh.
We've even done it for houses. Ouch. We've done it for houses.
Really?
Yes. Yeah.
What do you mean for houses? Like
We
the
put in
houses
an
that
address.
have an entity or something? Or
Not even an entity. Like, say you want blessings on your house, or you want
Oh,
organization, or you want something on your house, manifestation, whatever it is, we can put your address in there and we can clear the house. That kind of
Wow.
thing. So, yeah, it's beautiful.
So it reminds me kind of distant Reiki in a way.
Correct.
It's all about the intention
Yep.
of what's happening. So you could remotely work with somebody from anywhere.
Absolutely. And cats, dogs, they can go right in the egg. Horses, we've done all those in the egg.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. I put my mom's cat in recently, and she's so cute. She's not exactly a big believer. She's not been here to try it yet. She's in Idaho.
Okay.
And we put the cat in the egg remotely, and she was so cute. I called her 2 days later and said, "How's the cat doing?" "Oh, he's fine, but I think it's probably the drugs the doctor put him on." And I went, "Oh, okay." So I couldn't help but laugh because nobody, especially if they're not of that mindset,
Yeah.
thinks it can work. And I'm like, "Oh, so she just happens to be doing better." Okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. Well, and when you're doing a couple of different things, sometimes
don't
it is
know.
difficult to determine what exactly is
Right.
assisting.
Right.
With what pushed you over,
Exactly.
what broke whatever the cycle or got you moving.
The pain cycle, absolutely.
Yeah, so it's very it's very interesting to me because I know that, I mean, again, this show is to inform people about these new technologies, or in some cases ancient technologies.
Correct. Yeah.
Right? Because
Yep.
we're talking about this because somebody created it fairly recently, this harmonic egg, but all of the pieces that go into it are ancient technologies.
Absolutely.
And, they worked a long time ago, and that's why they still work today.
Right.
Because they're really,
There's
true.
truth to them, yeah. Nostradamus had a pod, and he used to go in there periodically to meditate to get his next whatever information, whatever you want to call it.
Did he?
Yes, yes. Yeah, there's a lot of pods that have been in the history. Like when you go back in history, these things aren't new. It's new now because we're just rediscovering it, but it's
Yeah.
been around for years and years and centuries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that reminds me of, the yogis that go up into the Himalayas, into the cave, because
Absolutely.
they're trying to remove themselves from all of the density of the world and all of this, the disharmonic
Yes.
sound and vibration,
Yep.
so that they can elevate their consciousness and
Yep.
work on all of the ascension tools, I guess, basically that they did. So
Yep.
yeah, and look at that. That's another ancient technology.
Coming back again. Yeah, because that's what I mean. Like the salt room, all the stuff that people are bringing back now. I mean, if you go to Budapest, it would be totally normal for you and I go hang out in a salt room for the day.
Sure.
Right. But
Yeah.
over here, we're like, why would you go to a salt room?
Like you built a salt room? What do you mean?
Do you breathe it? Is it hot? And I'm like, no, if it was hot, you'd melt. The salt would melt. Everything would melt, Yes.
Yeah, truth.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited to try the egg out for myself because I have a frozen shoulder from a rotator cuff injury.
Yep.
And I don't know how much, I mean, there's a 15-minute inquiry, so I don't know how much you want me to tell you about this. But this initially began, in May when I was closing my yoga studio. I was
Okay.
carrying some very heavy things out, and I kind of did something, but I didn't know what it was, and it just was irritating. But it moved, and everything worked, and it just kind of was a little irritation. So
Right.
I don't think maybe I did tear something then, but the pain was not a thing.
Right.
The limitation was not a thing. It just was this little irritation. And then I was in Florida with my mom after a month of just kind of relaxing and letting my nervous system slow down from just the change. And I did this very little movement. I was trying to actually pull a cushion about this big that was wedged into the couch, just trying to fluff it for her and pull it up because her back was out.
Oh, no. Yes.
And I yanked on it twice. And this motion, and the second time I felt this like searing pain. And for 10 days I couldn't move my arm. And then I said, okay, I guess I better do something about this. You know, about day 4 or 5, I went to the ER and I got an MRI, and sure enough, there's several tears and sprains.
Okay.
So now I have this frozen shoulder. So I have a limitation, and I'm interested to see if the egg increases my range of motion.
Perfect.
And as far as like the pain scale, I would say for today, because today's a good day.
Okay.
The pains, I broke the pain cycle, and today's a good day. But I have pain right here in my elbow today. Let's say maybe like a 1.5 or 2. So not bad.
Not bad. Okay.
You know, but it's there. And then a little bit up in the deltoid.
Okay.
That's where I'm feeling, and this burning, this constant kind of heat and burning in my arm.
Yeah, because I felt your hand, and your hand was warm.
Yeah, like
compared to the other.
now. Just noticeably different.
Yeah, right in there.
You know?
Right in that pad too is the warmest.
So we have something that we can quantify if we get a change. So
yeah, that's fine. How are you with raising it?
Yeah, so raising the arm goes about there.
Okay. And is it different at the side?
It's about the same. It's actually lower than what it was a little bit ago.
Okay.
So I must have, it was up higher earlier.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. We can work on that.
It's quite limited compared to this,
Yeah.
This range of motion.
Yep.
Which is, full. We're going to see how I feel after experiencing some time in the egg.
Perfect.
And then we'll circle back.
Perfect. That sounds good.
Yay.
All right, super. We'll be back. Well, welcome back.
I'm back.
How are you feeling?
I feel lighter.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. There were a few things, that came up. I think some old stuff I needed to let myself off the hook for.
Perfect. Yeah.
So I did that. I was feeling some shooting pain in my deltoid the whole time.
Beautiful. So it was working on it.
Yeah, it went away, and then it would come back, and I'd go, okay, it's gone again, and it would come back, and I would go, oh no, but I haven't tested the range of motion yet.
All right. So
let's see.
Much higher.
Much higher?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then out to the side.
I would say it's a little higher.
Yeah, it's higher. Yep.
And I don't feel like it's dropping, like I'm able to hold it.
Mm-hmm. And then see how that arm does tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because it takes actually a full week to integrate everything that just happened in the egg. So it'll take a week. And then notice how the
heat's not there.
That's what I was going to ask you. Okay.
I don't feel the radiating heat like I did.
Beautiful.
I feel like emotionally, spiritually lighter, and then physically I feel this is cooler. Yeah, and I'm not feeling like that throbbing.
Perfect.
So thank you so much for the opportunity
for coming up.
to experience the egg. I have to say, I definitely, at least initially, am feeling much lighter. You know what? More grateful, more appreciative. There was a moment at the end of gratitude that came in.
Okay. Beautiful.
So thank
you
you
so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you for the experience.